of Aftab Poonawala's family. Very, very crucial. In the 2020 letter, Shraddha saying that Aftab Poonawala's family members are aware that he abuses and threatens me. Now the Delhi police taking the statement of the family members, asking the family members if they knew the kind of relationship that Aftab and Shraddha used to share, the problems that they had been facing and the abuses and threats that Shraddha had been facing. Priyank is joining us live with that. Priyank, what are the details?
It's a major development with respect to the letter which has been accessed by the Times at all, which really shows that how Shraddha had also pointed out about the family being aware about the abusive relationship and Aftab beating her. Following to which, the Delhi police also got to know about the similar kind of content of the letter, which they managed to get during the stay in the Mumbai. Leading to that, the family members were summoned and they have got their statement. It's very important because they themselves can clear the doubt regarding their son being such an abusive one, his conduct, his past, his incidences of the past where he was violent even if he was in school or college. These kind of detail have been shared by the family members to the police. It's a very important piece of evidence because remember, so far the Delhi police is going by the circumstantial evidences because they know that the confession of the killer before them is certainly not admissible before the court. In the process of gathering these circumstantial evidences, the Delhi police recording the statement of the family member is a very important factor because they have also made the lie of Aftab, how he was disguising himself, how he managed to have a dual kind of character. On one side, he was working in the offices, moving in and around the society.
Yes.
On the other side, he was a brutal murderer. So all these details and the family member statement, Pratibha, is very important in this case.
That's right. Cold manner in which he not just carried out the murder but also planned how to dispose of the body, and this went over several months. These are the details that have come in. Nirmal Kaur, former IPS, joining us. Swapnil Kothari is also with us. Mr. Swapnil, before I come to you, Nirmal Kaur, the details of this letter, I just want to highlight some of it yet again for our viewers as well. Saying, Shraddha in 2020, telling the police officials very clearly, he tried to kill me today. 6 months I've been going through such abuse and torture. It's only now that I mustered the courage to come to the police. If anything happens to me, you know who is responsible for it. Telling very clearly all of this to the police.
So it is a very old kind of, it is an abusive relationship that was clear from the beginning, and she has recorded it. She has had the courage to write a letter, to acknowledge it to herself, and still, she continued in the relationship. That definitely means that she had no support in this entire toxic, abusive relationship. And abusive relationships are always addictive. They are addictive. Their chemical effect on us is the same as that of an addiction when you are in an abusive relationship. So they are addictive, and you need, when you muster courage, like this girl, while she was writing this letter 2 years ago, somebody, if she had a support system around her, some social organization, she had fallen from the graces of her family. But, parents are parents. If she had, I think she never could emotionally break herself off from Aftab. If she had emotionally broke this tie or whatever bound them, the emotional tie, she would have been a much stronger person. And for that, she needed a lot of counseling. Maybe some medication also sometimes helps. But that was missing in her case. She tried to struggle. There's a very
but
old
what
saying,
about the police officials who did nothing? Mr. Swapnil Kothari, I'll come to you in just a bit. I just want to bring in Mayank here as well. Mayank, the letter, time and again, Shraddha Walker saying that he has threatened to kill me. He has tried to strangle me. This is the threat that he has been giving for 6 months. This has been happening. The parents were aware of this. Also saying that this is my letter to the police officials. If something happens to me, you know who is responsible. So she had informed the police. We've also spoken about how earlier she had spoken to the managers. There are several people that she had spoken this entire ordeal to. In fact, in this letter, she also says that I no longer wish to even stay with him.
Well, absolutely, Pratibha. This letter nails the lies, made by Aftab Poonawala in the court yesterday, that it was done in rage, and rather it, goes about, it states the facts about the abusive relationship that Shraddha Walkar was in with Aftab Poonawala beyond the reasonable doubt. And this damning letter that we have just broke, it exposes three aspects of this case. First, it shows, callous approach by the Maharashtra police when this complaint was filed by Shraddha Walker. It also exposes, a possible complicity by the Aftab's parents, that they were aware of the abusive relationship between Aftab and also Shraddha, and they did not do anything about it. And also it shows, a kind of innocence on the part of Shraddha, that even after writing these this particular letter to police and filing complaints, she chose to stay, and she paid the possible price for it, because Aftab was in a continuous abusive relationship, and she is clearly mentioning
and the detail that she has been speaking about, Mayank, she says that I no longer want to stay with him, but he has been blackmailing me every single time. Investigations also, of course, revealing the kind of threat that she had been receiving time and again. Mr. Kothari, this is the evidence that we're talking about. Ms. Shabina also joining us. Ms. Shabina, look at this letter. She is saying that Aftab has been abusing me. He will cut me into pieces. If something happens, he is responsible.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely shocking, but at the same time, it again reflects the kind of mentality, I'm sorry to say, but the police has towards the complaints that women actually do to the police stations. They generally take it in a very routine manner. They do not take them seriously, and probably that is the reason, one of the most important reasons why Shraddha is no more with us. This is horrifying. A girl writes to the police saying that I'll be cut into pieces, I have a threat to life, and still no action is taken upon. I think
I just want to ask you very quickly, because many are saying that after that she had withdrawn her complaint. What happens in that case? Even if she's withdrawn, it could be under pressure. So will the police officials still look at it?
Of course they have to. It's the responsibility. If a girl is writing something, even if she withdraws, what are the circumstances? Why at all did she withdraw the letter? That is something which the police needs to. No person who doesn't have a threat writes to police, for heaven's sake. If someone is writing to the police, that means that there is a threat to life. And in that case, even if the complaint is withdrawn, the police responsibility is to see, to ask, to counsel whether it was done under pressure and what are the circumstances that the girl is writing or the girl is withdrawing.
Especially when she tells in such detail that he has threatened to chop me up into pieces. Shabina, thank you for joining us. Mr. Swapnil Kothari, please come in here. The letters we've been speaking about, no action being taken, and so many questions left unanswered.
Yes, Pratibha, what's happening here is that the police obviously has taken this very, very lightly. Possibly they did not find any importance in this, just as they must have dealt with it as a routine letter. And, this shows the apathy of the police towards people who are not really up there in the upmarket society. These are very common people, so obviously the police don't take them seriously. Most of the time they don't. Now, my point is, between that letter and today, rather up until the day when she was murdered, I'm sure there must have been other 2-3 letters or possibly other complaints also. I, for one, do not believe that there was nothing in that whole period of 2 years. And also, there should be more evidence pointing towards this man's guilt, because it cannot be that, that nothing of this nature happened between the two. They were in an abusive relationship. Rather, she was in an abusive relationship. That goes without saying. So the point is that the word abusing, the word killing, chopping into pieces, all these words from this letter would have translated into something or the other up until the final time when she was actually murdered and chopped. So between that letter and now, there has to be more damning evidence which the police need to find out. And as far as getting the people, the parents into questioning and trying to question them, that's okay. That's, just trying to gather the background information about this Aftab. But I think the more crucial information people can reveal is his neighbors in New Delhi, in the Mehrauli area, when he walked into when he became a tenant on the 15th of May.
Yes.
So up until then, or something of that sort, even prior to that, when he made inquiries to come to that area and thereafter.
Yes.
So why is it that nobody saw that this partner of his was missing for such a period of long time? I cannot believe for a moment that.
Yes, and it was such a close-knit place. In fact, we've also visited that place. Reporters have also been reporting from right outside. So there are residences right next to it, or, the landlord could have asked these questions. But Ms. Nirmal Kaur, the questions being raised on why did she speak up? She seemed to have spoken to those who were close to her friends, her manager, in this case, the police as well. Where else could she have gone?
She could have gone to, like NCW member, madam is here. That is what their job is, counseling and providing support to these girls, such girls who are in distress and who have no family or friends. And this is a very specialized situation in which, normal friends or normal friendship or even normal family members cannot help. This is a highly specialized thing, getting people out of toxic relationships, which is a combination of a lot of counseling, a bit of medicine, things
but
like that.
But why won't the police come in here? When this is a letter to the police officials, why do you think they deterred, or why do you think they just brushed it aside as just any other case?
That is very wrong of them. They should have made an entry and referred her to some good supporting social organization. I'm sure Mumbai has many of them. And this is not the job of the police really to counsel and bring them out of this relationship. That is more of the social organization's work. But yes, the police failed to the extent that they did not record her a letter and they did not refer her to the right people. But police, as such, the police has no kind of social or community support. You need some community support for the local police station, where, some right-minded people, right-thinking people, professors of the university, some doctors, some kindred citizens, they get together and help police in this. I've been a police officer, and whenever we've tried to involve social people, the society people at large, only about, I would say, 20% of them they want to work.
Absolutely. So, which is why the police officials should also be questioned, because when a girl is writing a letter saying he has threatened to chop me into pieces, why was there no follow-up as well? Arunil, my colleague, also joining us. Arunil, this letter, the details of it so chilling, as she talks about how she was abused for over 6 months, then mustered the courage to go to the police, saying that he is threatening to chop me up into pieces, informing the police at the end of the letter, if something happens to me, you know who is responsible.
Well, that is right, Pratibha. On November 23rd, 2020, this is around 1.5 years before Shraddha was brutally murdered. Shraddha is basically raising an alarm. She is telling the local police station, also saying that until now I have not come to the police station because I was scared, but now I want to tell the local police station that how Aftab has been abusing me, threatening to kill me and chop me into pieces and then throw my body parts. This is what exactly has happened after 1.5 years. If the local police station would have taken the right call and would have apprehended Aftab at that time, then Shraddha definitely would have been alive till now. So why this police complaint was not turned into an FIR, why Aftab was not apprehended, why his parents were not questioned at that time only. Here as well, Shraddha is basically pointing towards the fact that Aftab parents also know that he beats me up. So why the parents also didn't intervene and ask Aftab to stop his abusive behavior, beg your pardon. That is the main question that comes to the fore, Pratibha. And clearly, pressure mounts on the local police station as well, Vasai police station, Tulinj police station, because this is where the complaint was registered, but they sat over it, unfortunately.
Absolutely. Mr. Kothari, before I come to you, I just want to read out the letter yet again, because of the fact that this is such a chilling letter. The details, as we go through it, it makes you shudder. It says, today he tried to kill me by suffocating me. He scares and blackmails me. He threatened that he will kill me and cut me up into pieces. He has been hitting me. I did not have the guts to go to the police. That's what she says. Sabya Sachi is also joining us live on the broadcast. Sabya Sachi, in the details, she says clearly, I lived with him till date as we were supposed to get married anytime soon. His family was aware of this. Henceforth, I'm no longer willing to stay with him. If anything happens to me, you know who is responsible.
Well, absolutely. In 2020, Shraddha has made it clear that if she is killed, who is the person will be responsible. And in that letter, it is clearly mentioned that the family of Aftab was aware of the entire situation, that how Shraddha was subjected to an abusive relation. Time and reached out to Aftab's family regarding this particular issue, but clearly no action has been taken. And Delhi police yesterday have recorded statement of Aftab's family as well. So in this particular angle, Aftab's family's role is very important because they were aware of the entire situation, what was going on, through what abusive environment Shraddha was. And that is the reason why the Delhi police had called in Shraddha's family for questioning, and they have recorded their statement. And right now, Delhi police has clearly stated that in this particular matter, they are investigating with various angles and they are not subjected to one particular angle. The investigative team have told Times Now that they are currently investigating and interrogating Aftab with open-minded and open-ended. So various angles are there, and this particular letter which has come out from Shraddha's end in 2020 is really shocking because she clearly mentions in that particular letter that how Aftab used to torture her time and again, used to threaten her, used to blackmail her. And also we have seen that several Shraddha's friends have come on record and told that Aftab used to blackmail her when she used to think about leaving him.
Absolutely. And, at times now we've been unraveling how it all unfolded, how he committed the murder, after which day by day he continued to dispose of the body, and he was getting more and more confident. In fact, in the initial days of the investigation, he also tried to dupe the police officials. He tried to mislead the investigations, but it was finally digital evidence that pointed towards it. We also spoke to activist Brinda Adige and listened into how shocked she was at this 2020 letter that was written by Shraddha to the police, where she speaks about how he tried to murder her.
See, look at this letter, 2020, and sadly it is on the same day, today, 23rd. Police often only respond to a crime after it has happened. Police are not interested in preventing a crime. And if she has given this letter to the police would have certainly said, nothing has yet happened. This is between partner or husband and wife. So intimate partner relationship, you go and take it up with the court. We as police do not have any role over here. Police across India speak the same language when it is concerning domestic violence. If I say I am going to murder someone, will he say after you murder I will look at it? This person is not understanding that domestic violence.
So this was the shock of Brinda Adige activists, saying when the police officials were aware, why didn't they do anything about it? For 2 years, he had been giving her this threat, after which he finally followed through.
The man is definitely demented, and this kind of it's quite horrifying that he openly writes a letter where he can chop somebody to pieces, and there is no action taken against him. That is also another shocking part of it. The authorities should have taken some form of action, when this kind of a letter was given to them, at least a warning, to him. So the whole point is that this man is brutal, he is condemnable, and he has to be given punishment of death punishment at the earliest possible time. We don't have to keep delaying this. Nirbhaya was delayed for 7 years. We don't need to delay this. We have enough evidence, and the man's penalty has to be a death penalty.
All right, these are the voices that we're getting to you. Sabyasachi, this is the kind of shock that people across the country are giving at the letter that Shraddha had sent, and this is in 2020. But let's also talk about the other evidences that the police officials have found until now. In fact, before I come to you, let me go across to Mayank. Mayank, the details, the evidences that the police officials have found until now as they conduct the investigations.
Well, Pratibha, as far as this investigation is concerned, the police have collected more than 30 to 35 bones, and that they are believing that could be of Shraddha, but that will come out only after the DNA analysis of these bones. Currently, I'm reporting from the Forensic Science Laboratory in Rohini, in the national capital, where Aftab Poonawala will be taken today for the polygraph test, because that is the first process that police will carry out before carrying out the narco analysis that will aid the police, and also the letter that we just broke, can you understand the innocence of a 26-year-old girl who could believe that, she was killed, she was under impression that she could be killed, and also the courage that she had to muster for 6 months, because she clearly, specifically mentions it in that written letter, handwritten letter, mind you. It needs courage to write that letter, that she admitted that she was in an abusive relationship with Aftab Poonawala. She had to write that letter. And what did Maharashtra police do? They took it callously, and that's why we are seeing that this case has built up. It could have been, avoided if police had taken this up seriously. They would have locked up, they would have rounded up Aftab Poonawala, asked some tough questions of him and also his family, because as per this letter that we just broke, Aftab's parents were also complicit in this, because they were aware of the nature of the relationship that Shraddha was sharing with Aftab. So that's why this puts the entire lens of the investigation on the parents of Aftab as well. So it clearly states the callousness on the part of
Because she's spoken about how the parents were also aware of the threats and the abuses that she had been receiving. Akanksha is also with us. She's been closely tracking the investigation. Akanksha, what Aftab has told to the court yesterday is that it happened in the heat of the moment. But this is a letter from 2020. Shraddha Walker clearly saying that he has been threatening to kill me and chop me up into pieces and throw me away. He is the one responsible if something happens to me. Cold and calculated manner in which the murder was conducted, and after that trying to dispose of the body and of course also mislead the police officials.
Absolutely. Now, yesterday he told the court that he killed her in a fit of rage. This doesn't add up, because earlier also we showed the bruise marks on her face when she was beaten up by Aftab Poonawala. Now, this letter has come up, which has been broken by times now, which shows that in 2020, November, on this very same day, 2 years ago, she wrote a letter to the Mumbai police stating that he used to beat her, threaten her, blackmail her and wanted to cut her into pieces. So 2 years before this gruesome murder took place, she was aware that such a thing was going to happen. She went on to say that if something bad happens to her, Aftab Poonawala would be responsible. So whatever Aftab Poonawala said in the court yesterday, that he killed her in a fit of rage, that it was in the heat of the moment, really doesn't add up, because 2 years back also he used to beat her up, threaten her, blackmail her and wanted to cut her into pieces. If police had taken proper action at the same time 2 years ago, this situation would not have but the situation right now is that this letter has now come up 2 years later, in which she had made grave allegations 2 years before this gruesome murder took place.
Okay, all right. Sabyasachi, as we speak of the details that have come in, pieces of Shraddha's body that Aftab had thrown about so that the police officials could not catch him. He was inspired by Dexter, but more importantly, it was a well-calculated, planned murder, after which he disposed of the body.
Well, absolutely. See, it has to be well calculated. The way he has planned the entire murder, and also the way he has disposed Shraddha's body parts is very well planned, and that is the reason why the forensic team here is very important. Yesterday we had seen that Aftab was brought in at the FSL office yesterday at around 6 in the evening, and then he was there for almost 6 to 7 hours, where the polygraph test initially takes a day or two, and in the first day the tests like ECG, sugar level and other tests are being conducted. After that he's been counseled by the officers over there through the process. Then generic questions will be asked to monitor his heartbeat and other vitals, and today the polygraph test will be conducted, and evidences that has been collected by the police so far are very crucial, specifically the jaw part that police have collected. Right away after collecting the jaw of Shraddha, they went to the dentist, and then they have got to from the dentist that the root canal was being conducted. Then they reached out to Shraddha's father and brother to get a confirmation that did Shraddha undergo a root canal or not. To that they said yes. Delhi police right now is battling the 6 months time which has passed through, but they have successfully collected the missing body parts of Shraddha. Around 17 of the bones have been collected so far. So right now, the forensic team as well as the DNA profiling will be extremely crucial, because the Delhi police have told a court that Aftab has been changing statement, and we do not rely on his statement at all, because
that's right. And you know, this is the latest letter written in 2020 that Times Now has accessed, where she speaks about the kind of torture and threats that she had to go through. We pieced together all of these details in the investigation. Request you all to stay with us. We slip into a quick break here. We'll be right back.